Hey mathletes, in this video we're going to look at solving absolute value equations. Now remember, whatever's inside absolute value could be a positive number or it could be a negative number. What the absolute value equals should always be positive. So if it could be positive or it could be negative, that means you need to split it into two separate equations. So x plus 3 could equal 8, or x plus 3 could have equaled negative 8. So we're just going to solve this. It's a one-step equation. We have our left-hand side and our right-hand side are equal. We have addition. So to undo the addition and get x all by itself, we're going to be subtracting. So we're going to subtract 3 from both sides. Again, positive 3 minus 3 is 0. Leaving x by itself. 8 minus 3 is 5. That does not mean that this one is going to equal negative 5. You've got to solve it out. So again, we're going to have x by itself when we're done. We're going to do the same thing since it's still plus 3 with our x. We're going to subtract 3 from both sides. But in this case, negative 8 minus 3 is not negative 5, it's negative 11. So we'd say the solution is x is negative 11 or 5. So remember these funky looking brackets here, they mean a set. So you have the solution set is negative 11 and 5. So in this case we have negative 2 multiplied by the absolute value of x plus 5, and that equals 6. So the first thing you want to do before we start this, we want to do before we break this into two separate equations is to divide by the negative 2. So this leaves us with absolute value of x plus 5 equals negative 3. So in this case we have an absolute value of some expression equals negative 3. A negative number. This cannot be true. So the absolute value would always be a positive value or 0. So in this case there are no solutions. If you simplify before you take your absolute value and you get a negative value, there are no solutions to the equation. So in this case over here we have negative 2 times the absolute value of 3x minus 4 equals negative 16. So again, the first thing I'm going to do is divide by the negative 2. So we have the absolute value of 3x minus 4 equals positive 8. So again, the absolute value equals a positive number. So now we're going to break it into two separate equations and solve them both. If we had had anything added or subtracted after the absolute value, we also would have eliminated that before we started the absolute value equation. So 3x minus 4 could equal 8, or 3x minus 4 could equal negative 8. So we have our left-hand side and our right-hand side. When we're done, we're going to have x equals. So we have multiplication and subtraction with our variable on our left-hand side. So since we're reversing the order of operations, we're going to eliminate the subtraction before we eliminate the multiplication. So the opposite of subtraction is addition, so we're going to add 4 to both sides. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0. So now we have 3x equals 12. The opposite of multiplication is going to be division. We're using the inverse property. So we're going to divide both sides by 3, because then 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 1x is x. And 12 divided by 3 is going to be 4. So over here we're going to do the same things we just did because the left-hand side is the same in both. So we're going to add 4 to both sides. Going to leave us with 3x equals negative 4. So we're going to divide both sides by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. That leaves us with x. Negative 4 divided by 3, we're going to leave that as a fraction. It's negative 4/3. You don't want to make this a decimal because then you'd have a repeating decimal that we'd have to round off or truncate at the end, and it would not be the exact solution. So x equals -4/3 and x equals 4. Remember, it's a set, so it's got these funky brackets. So this is the solution set of this absolute value equation.